The Bulls were
They
down.
were down 16, and he scored 24 in the last 6 minutes. Darrick Martin was talking shit on the sideline. Oh, he looks at Darrick and says, "Just shut up, you little bitch." Real talk, he actually said that.
It was the ultimate sports experience for Canadians. They paid $500 to $900 for a seat to fulfill their dreams because Michael Jordan and the Bulls were coming to Vancouver. It was a dream come true for a spectator, but the worst nightmare for Grizzlies players. Darrick Martin, former point guard, and Antonio Harvey, former power forward for Vancouver, told their story, and I'm ready to give you every single detail about this tall tale. Early in the 1995 season, Phil Jackson was on his way to coach the fourth championship team on a team that had leaders like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and a newcomer, a loner named Dennis Rodman. In his full season comeback, Michael resisted at first but admitted before the 1995-96 season started that he was more comfortable with the system since his return. With Rodman joining, they formed a big three ready for the season. The Bulls were in Canada for their long road trip. The game started, and the Grizzlies thought they had found the antidote for Jordan and the Bulls. They were feisty and gave their all. The Grizzlies team gave the people in Vancouver something to cheer about, dominating the Bulls for 3 quarters. How did this poor Vancouver team beat the Bulls in the first 3 quarters? Jordan was having a poor night. Maybe the worst. Antonio Harvey rejected him. Chris King dunked over him and stripped him. MJ did not score a point for 16 minutes and 29 seconds in the second half. Jordan was looking bored and disinterested throughout the game. MJ was double-teamed much of his 20 minutes of the first half. He scored only 8 points in the first half, once on an easy drive, having a layup set up on a fast break pass. He missed a 6-foot jump shot, 17-foot jumper, a 3-point 24-footer, 10-footer, 20-foot jumpers, and a driving layup. Maybe the worst quarter of his career. Michael was shooting a miserable 5 of 17 from the field with only 12 points, as the Bulls trailed 77-69 midway through the final period. The Bulls wanted to play slowly, but Vancouver wanted that too, and it made for a low-scoring game. It wasn't just the Grizzlies' defense bothering the Bulls. It was also the poor shooting and committing too many turnovers. The Grizzlies led 77-73, and a sellout crowd of 19,000 people were actually living their best lives. They almost snapped their 12-game losing streak. But how did the Bulls turn the game around? What happened to Michael? He just switched. Don't forget the fact that Jordan was a patient player and didn't get upset when things didn't go well. The Bulls had their worst game of the season, shooting 39%. Here's what happened. Jordan headed to the bench with 6 minutes left in the third quarter and just 10 points. While Jordan was sitting on the bench, a Grizzlies player taunted the entire bench. Jordan just smiled. MJ came back to the game with 2 minutes gone and the Bulls down by 6, but he didn't score a point until 5:55 was left. 4 minutes later, with Jordan's dunk and him scoring the next 11 points, the Bulls had an 82-79 lead. A Grizzlies timeout didn't help. When Michael came up with the steal with 33 seconds left and went for the dunk, the Bulls were up 91-83. The Grizzlies team and crowd were stunned. Enough is enough. It is time for work. He got a rhythm in the going in the fourth, and they couldn't stop it. Jordan put on a one-on-one clinic in the final 6 minutes. Acrobatic dunks, fall-away jumpers, baseline drives, steals. With the Bulls isolating him in the low post, he went around, over, and through Byron Scott. He scored 19 of the Bulls' final 23 points. It was Jordan's best stretch of the season. Jordan found something to motivate himself and hit the switch, just like Antonio Harvey told in the interviews.
He's fading towards our bench. He knocks down the shot. They go up by 6. He turns to the bench and says, "Shut up, you little bitch." True story.
Wow!
The player who sparked this comeback was Darrick Martin, the guy who taunted the Bulls bench. The backdrop was Michael Jordan filming Space Jam before the 95-96 season started, and he made Warner Brothers build a basketball court for his personal training in Los Angeles. NBA players from all over the country came in and played pickup games. It was a good summer preparation for players like Reggie Miller, Juwan Howard, and even Magic Johnson, who participated and later made a comeback in early '96. Magic Johnson caused Darrick Martin to bring players for 5-on-5 games with Michael. Martin brought Chris Mills, Tracy Murray, and Mitchell Butler. They were UCLA teammates back in their college years. The game started, the score is 6-6. Martin fakes a jump shot, Jordan jumps, and Martin lays the ball in. He calls game. Darrick Martin not only said game time, but he also talked trash to Jordan. "It is my town, Michael. Get out of my town. You're not even the real MJ. My main Magic Johnson is the real one." They played those pickup games during that summer. Fast forward to November 30th. Darrick Martin scores and gets a foul. He evokes by MJ again. "I told you we were going to whoop your ass tonight." Michael is on the bench and his shoes are untied. Phil Jackson is ready to challenge MJ and he says, "What are you gonna do, Michael?" MJ checks in during the free throw break. Faiz Martinez says, "Little man, I told you not to talk trash to me." But the Grizzlies are still leading the game. Jordan turns the game around. After the last basket, he finds Darrick Martin on the bench and yells at him, "Shut up, you little bitch. Here's your life lesson. Do not poke the bear." Yeah, this is how Phil Jackson challenged Michael and get the victory over Vancouver Grizzlies. Bulls coach Phil Jackson represented another dimension to this team. The first thing you should know about him is that he coached the Bulls to 3 NBA titles in the early 90s, but he wasn't your typical NBA coach. Jackson's beliefs were rooted in a strong Pentecostal upbringing, combined with Zen philosophy applied to basketball, teaching players to focus their thoughts and diminish distraction through self-awareness. Different. How many NBA coaches would ask their players, as Jackson did in a pre-game meeting during the Gulf War, if the US should bomb Baghdad? With assistant coach Tex Winter, Jackson pushed a triangle-style offense, a 5-man Tai Chi as he called it, which provided more shots at different parts of the court. On this 7-game road trip, Jackson handed out novels to his players. Jordan received Getting on the Bus, Bill Wennington got Dirty White Boys, Steve Kerr received A Thief of Time, and Courage and Tony Kukoc got To Kill a Mockingbird to help improve his English. Jackson even gave Dennis Rodman a copy of his own book, Sacred Hoops, Spiritual Lessons of a Hardwood Warrior. "It is a personal gift," Jackson explained. "It means I've connected with them in some form of fashion." Only 3 players had responded to Jackson. Rodman was one of them. "I don't have too many intellectuals on this squad," Jackson said with a smile. "I don't know why they're mostly athletes, but there are a few who enjoy the books and ask for more." When a writer asked Jackson if it was hard dealing with the egos of Jordan, Rodman, and Pippen, he responded dryly, "The egos I have are no different than the egos anybody else has. They just get more publicity." Summary of the game: first quarter, feeling each other out. The Bulls took a lead behind Scottie Pippen, but Vancouver's defense was feisty and aggressive. They weren't intimidated by 3-time champions. The score reflected the cautious, defensive battle. Bulls 25, Grizzlies 23 after 1 quarter. Second quarter, Bulls can't shake Vancouver. Jordan was being double-teamed much of his 20 minutes in the first half. He managed only 8 points in the half. The Bulls wanted to play slowly, making for a low-scoring grind. It wasn't the free-flowing Bulls offense people expected. The Bulls were shooting a dismal 39.6% from the field in the first half. It wasn't just the Grizzlies' defense battering them. They had as many problems with their own hands and committed too many turnovers. The score at halftime: Bulls 44, Grizzlies 42. Vancouver was right there, believing they could pull off the upset. Third quarter, Vancouver takes control. Greg Anthony continues his hot shooting into third quarter. The feisty point guard was getting wherever he wanted on the floor. The Grizzlies were playing inspired basketball and the crowd was going absolutely wild. Chicago tried to respond. Ron Harper hit some outside shots to keep the Bulls close. While Jordan rested, Vancouver kept attacking, forcing turnovers and pushing the pace when they could. The Grizzlies side momentum. Darrick Martin, the backup point guard, was playing with supreme confidence. Vancouver took a 64-62 lead into the final quarter on a drive by Darrick Martin at the end of the period. The sellout crowd was on its feet, living their best lives. The Grizzlies were 12 minutes away from shocking the basketball world. Fourth quarter, the turning point. 5:55 remaining. Jordan dunk over Byron Scott. 77-73. 5:22. A fall-away jumper from the right baseline over Scott. Swish. 4:24. Fall-away jumper from 18 feet. Nothing but net. 3:58. Turnaround jumper over Scott. Bulls take the lead 82-79. 1:26. Baseline turnaround over Scott for a layup. And 33 seconds left. The exclamation point. Jordan came up with a steal, raced the length of the court and threw down a cradle dunk that brought the crowd to its feet even though their team was losing. The Bulls led 91-83. Tony Kukoc hit a three-pointer during the run as well, but this was Jordan's show. He scored 19 of the Bulls' final 23 points in those closing 6 minutes. He finished with the game-high 29 points. When asked about his struggles through 3 quarters, Jordan said, "I got a rhythm going in the fourth, and they couldn't stop it. He's a great player, there is nothing more to say," said Grizzlies coach Brian Winters. "He just takes it to another level when the game is on the line. I'd like to say I haven't seen it before, but I have time and time again." This fourth quarter performance was a statement. Michael Jordan was back and he was still the best closer in basketball. Thanks for watching.